Hey guys, welcome back. Hey, what I want to talk about today, I'm going to tell you right now, it is thinking in process, but it's about these two words. It depends. I have had an epiphany lately that it depends. If you're a consultant, um, there's a bunch of other businesses as well. I mean, I think it actually goes for almost any business, but there are a few businesses where it does actually depend. If you're in production, the cost of your production is going to depend on how many lights do you need, how many cameras do you need, and a bunch of other things. But for many other things where you are not counting little bits and pieces, if you're in any sort of info sharing, consultant kind of account oriented business, if what you call your customers are clients, this probably applies to you. So here's my little notes that I'm going to be going through. But here's the big epiphany. For consultants, you absolutely have to get rid of "it depends" from your language. And by the way, I'm saying this after spending years and years of saying "it depends." People would be like, "What should I do?" And very often I'll say "it depends." But here's where you can't say "it depends." When it comes to how much is it going to cost, I have recently come to sort of the awakening that you have got to try to eliminate "it depends" from any cost equation as much as possible. I think it is the most corrosive, self-defeating, incoherent, lazy, and trust destroying pair of words that you could possibly use. And so let me explain to you why. So here's the thing. One of the things that I've been talking to clients about a lot lately, especially my small to medium sized clients, right? So for you, if you have a business or you work in a small business and you're trying to go from $500,000 to $1 million, 1 million to 5 million, thereabouts, one of the things that you've got to learn how to do is package your offer. It's the second thing. I always talk about like kind of the four big things, right? You got to know your customer hero whisperer. You got to know your customer hero, like inside and out. You really have to understand them, empathize with them, everything else. Number two, you have to give them an offer. And so when you have an "it depends" offer, it feels squishy. It destroys trust, right? So you have to have a clear offer. It has to be clear from you. If you don't have clarity on what the offer is, they're not going to have clarity on what they're getting, which is why it's so trust destroying. And then of course, after you have a really tight offer, you need to know how to send traffic to it, and you've got to make it easy. So this actually goes against two of those things: the clear offer and the make it easy. So here's the thing. If you've gone to, down the path with a client to a certain extent, where you're actually talking to them, where they're asking you, well, how much is that going to cost? What might that look like, et cetera, et cetera. And you're like, it depends. I need to, well, this, that, and the other. Right there, your lack of clarity is sort of eroding trust with them. So part of what I want you to do is, and I'm talking to myself too, by the way, because I have aspects of my business where I have been as guilty of this as anybody else, but it's this dawn that I am getting, which is why I'm sharing it with you sort of as it happens. But what you need to do is you have to take the things that you do, even if you're going to have a bunch of different clients and every flavor is going to be different, you at least have to have an entry point, or a small, medium, and large. I always talk about kind of like the Goldilocks solution, right? Like a small, medium, large to sort of anchor people with what it is, right? If folks want to do strategy with me, I know how much it costs, right? There's one price that it is just fixed. It's a fixed price if you want to do strategy with me, kind of in what I call a virtual sprint, where we do it over a Zoom. And there's a fixed price if you want to do a strategy with me for 1 day, for 2 days, or for 3 days, where I actually come to you and work with you in your company. But what I started realizing is that as I shift to having more like online products where you can, download things, you can take a course, and I hope to have more of these coming out. What's actually started dawning on me as I've gotten more into that sort of direct sales type of thing is how much I've been missing having only worked in the corporate world previously and not had to get really precise on offers, right? Because what your offer needs to do is it needs to be so clear that it makes it easy for your client or your prospect to say yes. It's like, hey, Ginger, can you help with me? Sure. Can you help me? Or can you help me in my companies? Sure. There's a couple of ways I can help you. You know, I've got a masterclass that you can join if you're a little bit more of a DIYer. We talked about this earlier. You know, there's DIY and DFY. If you want to DIY because your budget is tight or whatever, and there are pros and cons to that, let me tell you, then I'd be like, take the masterclass. You know, it'd be a really good idea. Take the masterclass. I'm going to share everything I know with you. You know, you're going to get like a ton of content, and you can take that and start using it with this business, the next business. I don't care what. It applies to everything. That would be one way. You know, the other way would be like, no, I really want to work with you personally, Ginger. I want you working with my company, but I'm halfway around the world, which some of my clients are. It's like, great, let's do a virtual sprint. That's going to be, you know, a couple of hours up front. I'm going to spend some time in the middle, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk again. And that has a very fixed price. And then if you want me to come in and work with your company, that has a different price, right? But I got to that after a lot of experimenting with a whole bunch of, you know, things that were not clear. Here's the reality. The reason those are the entries to my business is because I can't really give you an honest, impactful recommendation that I truly believe and that comes from my years and years of experience if I don't actually know all of the stuff that I'm going to get out of one of these sprints, right? So if you do the virtual or you do the in-person sprint with me, I need that so I can actually give you, you know, what it is that you need to know. If not, I'm stuck in depends world. It depends world. And it depends is a terrible, terrible place to be for me and for the client. Because if I'm saying something like it depends, the client is starting to wonder if I know the answer. Trust is eroded. It's self-defeating because when I'm wishy-washy, guess what? That's, you know, that spreads. That's infectious. They get a little wishy-washy. Oh, I don't really know what it's going to be. And it's incoherent because you haven't taken the time. So I say that sometimes, you know, when you're saying it depends, you're being lazy, right? And again, I am talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you, but find your package. I don't care how complex your business is. There's got to be something that you can do that is fixed and that has a fixed price for people to be able to cross the threshold with you and get to understand how it is that you operate. So what I'm trying to do is really eradicate it depends from my language. And here's how you do it. You basically wrap an offer, right? You wrap something that you're selling into a clear offer. And the offer basically has two parts. There's the what they get, right? This is the offer. I'm going to do this for you. This includes this, 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 and this other thing, right? These are all the things that you're going to get with it. So it's abundantly clear what they're paying for. And what you're going to get because of that are these outcomes, A, B, C, D, E outcomes, right? Remember, we've talked about this extensively. What you're really selling are the outcomes. They want to know what they get because that helps them justify their emotions they're emotional about the outcome and logical about like the checklist of what they get, right? But the emotion comes first. And so that is something that's really important for you to do when you're packaging your offer, right? What you're doing as a result of that is being really clear. It has a specific price. And then what you're going to be letting them know is, here are all the things that you're going to get, but here's what you're really going to get, right? Here's the big outcome that you're going to get. And that's just super, super important. And here's why it builds trust, because when they know exactly what they're going to get and what outcome they can expect, that is what makes it easy for them to say yes, right? If you've gone that deep in a conversation, basically the person that you're talking to is waiting for, they want you to convince them or to persuade them to do something to get the outcome that they really want. That's just a factor. They wouldn't be talking to you. If they didn't want that thing really badly, they wouldn't be giving you the time of day. So all you have to do after that point is you really have to make it easy, right? And making it easy means here's what it is, here's what you get, here's the outcomes, and this is how much it's going to cost. And here's how you pay for it, et cetera, et cetera. You make it super easy. So this is my manifesto right now. Just eliminate, it depends from your language, especially when you're talking about price. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, but it is one of the most kind of awakening things that I have realized lately is getting crystal clear and not being lazy, right? If take the time to sit down and ask yourself, what can they get? What outcome can they expect? And how much is it going to cost? So you can be clear. If you can be clear, you're going to be confident. Confidence is infectious. And when you have confidence, they're going to have confidence in you that you can deliver. And you're actually going to be surprised, I think, by how much more confident you actually feel just because you can be so pointed and just really know exactly what it is. Okay, so I will see you next time. Hey guys, do me a favor, like, share, comment, all that stuff, trying to grow this community. If you're getting any value of this, please, let your friends know it's cool. Just hit a little share button or something like that and say, hey man, you should listen to this. Okay, I will see you next time.